Hi friends, my name is Dinesh. Welcome back to this channel. I'm an engineer and I make these videos just for fun. Now, in my 10 years of investing in the stock market, I have never seen anything quite like this. This year, almost all stock markets are up around the world, so it's only right to do a quick video to recap over what just happened in 2020, some of the best investment trusts and funds that have at least doubled your money this year, and also looking sort of ahead at what 2021 might bring. Now, if you cast your minds back to March 2020 of this year, which doesn't feel like that long ago at all, then the stock market actually dropped by 30%. It lost one third of its value. I think it was within less than a month, in a few weeks. And the outlook just seemed completely bleak. And I remember everyone around me was panicking. I had friends and family sort of texting me, messaging me, worried about their money in the stock market. But what I continued to do was I continued to invest in the market because the prices around the world were dropping. But that luckily turned out to be the right thing to do because suddenly the stock market magically began to rise again shortly afterwards. This increase in technology stocks was largely driven by companies like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, which are known as the sort of so-called FANG stocks. And it's because in lockdown, we became even more addicted to their products and services. I mean, if you think about it, when you're working, you're probably using Microsoft or Google services. When you want to relax, you're using things like Instagram, Zoom, buying things off Amazon. So these technology companies really benefited, and they really helped to sort of drive the stock market returns in 2020. And I heard some really crazy facts just to highlight how crazy and powerful these technology companies have now become. So fact number one, US technology companies are now bigger than the entire continental Europe, including the UK. Crazy fact number two, Apple is now larger than the FTSE 100, which is the combined value of the 100 greatest companies in the UK. Fact number three, Tesla is now bigger than all of its main rivals combined. Now you can check out a video I made earlier this year, which sort of goes into more detail about why the stock market rose in 2020. So now I want to move on to the best investment trusts and funds this year in 2020. And the broad themes for this year are technology, China, and also healthcare. Now, my favourite fund of this year is without a doubt Baillie Gifford's Scottish Mortgage Fund. And the name is slightly misleading because it's actually got nothing to do with Scottish investments and it's got nothing to do with mortgages. It's a sort of a prehistoric name that they've continued to use. And Scottish Mortgage invests in sort of technology companies that have really benefited from this pandemic. And Baillie Gifford were actually early investors in Tesla. And so far this year, that has helped the fund grow to over 100%, which is phenomenal given it's such a large fund already. And so that would have turned £100,000 into £200,000 in less than a year, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So Scottish Mortgage is without a doubt my favourite fund of 2020. Now, the best performing fund in the world right now is Baillie Gifford's American B, and that invests in sort of technology companies, small, medium, and large. And they've actually grown to 120%, which is absolutely crazy. So, you know, £10,000 would be turned into roughly £22,000 this year, which is absolutely phenomenal growth. It's showing no sign of sort of going down, and it's sort of been driven by these technology stocks. Now, also, smart money has been pouring into healthcare this year, as you would expect, in the search for sort of vaccines and therapeutics. And my favorite fund this year is the Biotech Growth Fund, which has returned about 80% this year. So it would have turned 10,000 into £18,000 this year, which is absolutely phenomenal growth. There are other really great investment trusts, such as the Worldwide Healthcare Investment Trust, which has also done very well this year, and I recommend that as well. An honourable mention goes to energy stocks and clean energy. And as we've seen, Tesla has sort of gone up by 800% this year, which is phenomenal. But the success of clean tech isn't just constrained to Tesla. You can actually invest in a ton of ETFs. I mean, I was looking at some ETFs yesterday that invest in solar technology, wind technology by Invesco. And I think they're currently up 300% this year. And that's to do with a lot of sort of public attention, and government funding is now going into renewables. The cost of renewables are falling, and I foresee that to do sort of really well in 2021. I mean, these are the types of returns we see over 5 years, not one. As some commentators have pointed out, the pandemic has already sort of accelerated trends that were already underway. So what will happen in 2021? Can China and these tech companies continue their market dominance now that vaccine relief is only months away? Or will there be a stock market crash like there was in 2008 and the dot-com crash of the early 90s? Absolutely no one knows. But I think the best strategy is to have a diversified portfolio going into 2021, which could include some of the funds and investment trusts that I've mentioned in this video. And it's also worth having a backup plan in case the technology stocks decide to crash in 2021. But thanks so much for listening. I really hope that was useful. I mean, these are just some of my thoughts. I'm just a random person on the internet. I'm not a financial advisor by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on sort of 2020 and also what you think 2021 might bring. And don't forget to sort of subscribe to this channel for more videos like this if you found it useful. Don't forget to sort of share it with your friends, and I hope to see you again very soon.